Hello. Firstly, I'd like to say congratulations to all the teachers out there and for everything that you've done throughout this horrible time that we've had to experience through COVID-19. Lots of parents I've spoken to have commented how amazing teachers have been, how they've gone way beyond their call of duty, and I am thankful that I am part of this amazing profession that we're in. So with that said, hello, I'm Enzo Orsini, and I'm here today to talk to you about sustainability, to give you a sustainability workshop. This year I've been working with Horizontus to promote habits and skills that protect our environment. I'm a teacher at Old Orchard Primary School, and one of my responsibilities there is to coordinate the sustainability team. At the end of last year, I decided to take a sabbatical and pursue my passions, particularly in this area. Horizontus has a vision to create positive environment that will help you teach your students to respect and care for their community. Today, I'll be guiding you through some useful facts that will help your students become responsible waste managers at Bellevue Primary School. You'll be guided through the resources available, particularly in the Boroondara city community, and what implications that may have for your school. At the end, you'll be able to set your own personal school goals, knowing how waste management operates in your community. The data shows that as Australians, we have made an improvement in our recycling endeavours. However, we now produce far more waste than ever. This slide shows you that even though we are doing far more recycling, the impact in landfill has not changed since 1996. Victorian government has invested 300 million to transform our recycling in Victoria. This shows how serious our governments are in making a future impact in our endeavour to reduce waste. Transformation of this type begins at schools with positive promotion of habits, skills, caring for others, respect for life, and protection for the environment. Love Food, Hate Waste is an initiative introduced by the Sustainability Victoria, and it has some valuable resources for schools. It is intended to minimise food waste and encourage responsible consumption that in turn reduces waste. I recommend you check it out. These are some of the images we want to eradicate. Why teach it in schools? By teaching our children, they potentially take this to their families and it is embedded in the new generation. This is familiar waste we see in school playgrounds around all schools. It goes to land waste and is not recycled in our normal recycling bins. Here is a video, a mockumentary that had a large impact on me and my students when I showed it to them. Lots of learning possibility in writing, maths, science, etc. I apologise if the sound is not fantastic. But if you do want to rewatch this at a later stage, I have put a link in at the end of this slideshow for you to actually enter in. Please enjoy. Sorry, let me go back and we'll try again.
The open plains of the asphalt jungle, home to many creatures great and small, and the pupping ground for one of the most clever and illustrious creatures, the plastic bag. Today we explore the cycle of life for this curious creature, the plastic bag, on its migration to its home, the Pacific Ocean. Once released into the wild, the plastic bag is unsure of itself. It falters at first, but soon, with some help from the wind, the bag will be airborne. This flight will be the first in its long journey towards its final destination, the garbage patch in the heart of the Pacific Ocean. Using the wind to guide it, the plastic bag moves across the city through the air. A city park. This park may at first seem an idyllic place for the plastic bag, but danger lurks round every corner. Here it will encounter many enemies, including one of the most dangerous, park services. Poor little fellow. Looks like his journey ends here. Meanwhile, our little bag has encountered one of nature's most deadly killers, the teacup Yorkie. Once the Yorkie has locked onto its victim, there's very little hope of survival. But using its superior size and deft maneuvering, our bag manages to escape the Yorkie's talons and flee for its life. Over the course of its miraculous migration, the plastic bag will cover vast distances through neighborhoods, across parks, and down city streets. It is now nightfall, and our highly advanced night vision cameras have managed to capture for the first time in history a plastic bag in pitch black. Phenomenal. The vast cement rivers of California, home to literally dozens of animals. Many plastic bags will not make it out of here. The reeds and branches will see to that. As at home in water as it is on land or in the air, the bag's natural buoyancy makes it an excellent swimmer. It's close now, and it can feel it. At last, the bag has reached the gateway to the open sea. Careful to avoid the mouths of hungry sea life that feed on the helpless plastic, the bag will travel hundreds of miles to join the thriving community of plastic known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The garbage patch is a veritable plastic oasis where millions of tons of plastic garbage remain trapped by the currents. It is said to be twice the size of Texas. Never actually biodegrading, here the plastic bag can live indefinitely, peacefully coexisting with billions of other petroleum species before breaking into ever tinier plastic pieces, thus completing the plastic cycle of life.
I hope the audio was okay, but if it wasn't, please just put in the majestic plastic bag on YouTube and watch it with your students. It is really worth watching, and the kids just loved it. Since the COVID-19 virus, new questions have arisen for all of us. Is there really less waste? And where does the waste go now that China no longer buys it from us? Where does it actually come from anyway? And who manufactures it? And how is it manufactured? These are loaded questions that our students have. They might even want to explore and investigate some of these issues. We have seen pictures of scenes where smog has lifted from the atmosphere in China, solely because we've been in isolation and the borders across countries are shut. Like young Greta Thunberg has been screaming at us before COVID-19, there is an emergency and we need to act like there is an emergency, just as we have with this virus that has caught us all by surprise. Our young generation is becoming more and more anxious and aware, and they are holding us accountable. So let's look at what is in place in our communities, particularly your community of Boroondara City, and how your school can make a difference. I understand that you are a 3-star sustainability school. Well done and congratulations. You have gained this through the tireless work of meeting resource smart requirements. Schools across Victoria are working towards obtaining 5-star credentials. A major module for this is waste, which is where we will focus our attention on today. The fact is that we are struggling to fully cope with the fact is that we are struggling to fully cope with the aftermath of China's national agreement, and we are massively underperforming relative to state targets. High community participation is necessary in tackling big ticket items such as waste avoidance, organic recovery, and reduce contamination of the yellow curbside bin. Usually it is left to local governments to gain community support and provide waste education, and to schools, of course. These are the bins that are available to your community, bins your children see in their homes. However, it is important that we teach students about avoiding waste as best as possible. Therefore, it is recommended that schools look at programs such as Love Food, Hate Waste, and have no waste policy in their school. One way to teach about waste is to do a compare and contrast with home and school waste management and encourage nude food at your school. These are the 3 bins we will be discussing today. Councils vary in what types of bins they have, but this is what your students who live in Boroondara will see in their homes. We will start with organic waste. It is important to know how valuable it is for schools to compost, not only because it will save money on fertiliser for the vegetable garden, but there is so much learning that can be done, covering many of the science and the social responsible humanity outcomes in the national and Victorian curriculum. This slide shows the benefits of composting, not only in school, but in the home environment as well, which has become more and more available to our families out there. It enriches the soil, has cost benefits, and generates fertiliser, which reduces weeds in your garden. The home compost FOGO, food organic and garden organic, specifies this list of food products that can be put in the green bin because they, the community, the city council, use a microorganism to break down the food, similar to the bokashi process, if you're aware of that process. However, in schools, if you are composting in your school and not sending it to the council, I recommend that you only recycle the fruit and vegetables and the greens, the weeds and grasses, that is. Garden waste is crucial for school composting as well. It adds the much needed carbon into the compost mix, helping it to break down quickly. Paper is another item where schools have an abundance of. This can go into your compost, especially when shredded. However, be cautious not to place laminated sheets or colour-coded glossy paper. This slide shows that what parents and students can put in their home compost FOGO bin. Again, here is a diagram of the home FOGO bin, accepted items in a visual format. Remember, if you are composting at school, I recommend not to add bread, dairy, or meat products. What not to put in the FOGO bin. I'll give you a couple of seconds to read this. The fact that if council finds items that cannot be composted in FOGO bin, the whole truckload gets sent to land is very important to know, particularly because if this bin is not used properly, it will be pointless. Waste of taxpayers' money, and it will go to landfill, defeating our goal to reduce landfill heaps. Again, since many of us are visual learners and thinkers, here is a slide to show what items will result in uncompostable waste and in turn become landfill. Let's move ahead to the yellow lid bin. Plastic bottles, hard, rigid plastic food containers are accepted for recycling, such as yogurt tubs or margarine tubs, takeaway hard plastic containers, dip containers, hard plastic meat trays, soft drink bottles, shampoo bottles, detergent bottles, etc., etc. What's not acceptable are flexible soft plastic, which when we did our audit at Old Orchard Primary School, we found this was the highest culprit in our school. It is advised for schools to look at Red Cycle program. It is an excellent program for schools to affiliate themselves with, as they are able to convert this waste into park benches, play equipment, etc. Worth looking at if you haven't done so already. Also worth knowing is that if you do decide to collect this soft plastic items, you can take them to Woolworths or Coles, who will send them to the Red Cycle program. Other things that are not accepted are polystyrene, food packaging, hot drink cups. These must be put into the landfill bin. It is best to encourage your community to buy responsibly. Something else that most people don't know is that if plastics are not empty or clean, they will go to landfill and not accepted for recycling because of the contamination. So, remove and recycle caps and lids and place these separately into your recycling bin. Remove and discard pumps and sprayers in your garbage bin. Broken glass bottles and jars are not accepted. Items must be empty, clean, and ensure they are food free. If we want to make a real difference to waste management, we need to introduce these habits and skills in our students who will then pass it on to their families. Of course, we could also educate our parent communities through parent forums. Finally, landfill waste. All other rubbish that is unable to be placed in the FOGO green bin or recycling bin is to be placed in the waste landfill bin. And where does this go? Landfill, of course. The only way to reduce this is for responsible consumer consumption, positive change to habits, and promotion of education for our communities. What are the social, economic, environmental benefits of recycling waste? It protects natural resources, saves energy, protects clean air and water, saves landfill space, and creates jobs. These are, of course, factors that are important to everyone, and schools are no exceptions. How can schools help? How can Bellevue Primary make an impact? By understanding government guidelines, I believe we can better understand how to manage our rubbish in schools. Some suggestions I have for you is to audit waste in your school. What can Bellevue Primary School do? I suggest perhaps looking at your curriculum inquiry, doing things like journey to the plastic bag, the journey of the yogurt tub, or the journey of the soft, crunchy chip packaging in your children's lunchbox. Use the resources available from Sustainability Victoria and Resource Smart. Series also has a wealth of knowledge, as has Horizontes. So ask yourselves what your plans might look like. We must avoid rubbish coming to school. Involve your student leaders. Find affiliations that can help your school community, and good luck with reducing waste. I suggest that perhaps you take some time together as a staff and talk to each other about different projects that you might have. Write these down, give them to your sustainability team, and yeah, good luck with it. Thank you for listening to me today. There, in the next slide, there are some references of the information, the sourced information on this slideshow, but also there is the link for the YouTube if it hasn't worked out as well as I wanted to. Thank you again, and enjoy your day.